harassment against anti-war protesters, because it's been pro-war and anti-war protesters is what it seems like, correct?
Correct. There has been...
Thank you. Activists on campus, including Jewish students, Black and Brown, Arab and Muslim students. How many of the organizations that were canceled in Colombia involved Jewish students?
One of the organizations is called Jewish Voices for Peace.
Yes. And encompassed of Jewish students?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
America, it's happening right in front of us. A sitting U.S. Congresswoman just said that lawmakers should be prohibited from legislating based on their faith. That's right. If you believe in God, if your values come from the Bible, Ilhan Omar thinks you shouldn't have a seat in government. This isn't about tolerance anymore. It's about tearing Christianity out of America's foundation. I'm fired up, and we need to talk about it. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button, tap the like, and drop a comment that says, "Save America." Because together, patriots, we are the firewall standing between freedom and the radical left's destruction of it. Welcome back to Congress Flash, the channel where truth still matters and where we shine the light on what Washington doesn't want you to see. Today, we're breaking down one of the most revealing moments in modern politics, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar's comments about religion, government, and her shocking exchange with Columbia University's president. Omar claims that members of Congress...
We are prohibited from establishing religion, yes?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's what the establishment
says. If you have members of Congress that are legislating laws in accordance with their faith in regards to abortion or LGBTQ or women or any of those things, that should be prohibited within our Constitution.
You are not allowed to impose, through the government, your religious beliefs on others. That is not what religious freedom is about. That's not what our country rests on.
Yeah. For many of us, religious freedom is extremely important. It is life and death in this country. Yes. Many of us fled our countries to come to the United States because that is the one thing that distinguishes us from many countries. But it's also important that we have a secular government.
Did you all
Ms. Omar, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you. President Shafiq, I wanted to get a clarification earlier. One of my colleagues asked you, have you seen anti-Muslim protests on campus?
I have seen, we have had pro-Israeli demonstrations on campus.
No.
But
just
not,
a protest that was
not,
against Muslims.
No, I have
you
not
seen one against Arabs?
No, I have not.
Have you seen one against Palestinians?
No, I have not.
Have you seen one against Jewish people? Have you seen a protest saying we are against Jewish people?
No, I have seen.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. There has been a rise in targeting and harassment against anti-war protesters, because it's been pro-war and anti-war protesters is what it seems like, correct?
Correct. There has been.
Okay, thank you. Activists on campus, including Jewish students, Black and Brown, Arab and Muslim students. How many of the organizations that were canceled in Colombia involved Jewish students?
One of the organizations is called Jewish Voices for Peace.
Yes. And encompassed of Jewish students?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. There was there's been a recent attack on the democratic rights of students across the country. I was appalled to learn that in April, Colombia suspended and evicted 6 students for their involvement in the pro-Palestinian panel event on campus. It happened that all 6 students were arbitrarily targeted after the university brought in a team of private and former police investigators. These investigators harassed, intimidated Palestinian students at their homes, demanding to see students' private text messages, and sent threatening emails to the leaders of those pro-Palestinian groups. I would like to ask you to speak a little bit more to this situation and ask you if you guys have utilized private former police investigators before, or is this the first time?
So this was a very serious case. We had students who on an online
If you could
call.
shorten your answer, that would be really appreciated.
Of course.
Omar claims that members of Congress should be prohibited, her word, from legislating in accordance with their faith. She argues that doing so violates the Constitution's Establishment Clause. But let's pause and think about that. Our founders didn't write the Constitution to ban faith. They wrote it to protect it. Freedom of religion means the government can't force you into a church, but it also means the government can't force you to check your faith at the door when you serve your country. When Omar says faith-based leadership is unconstitutional, what she's really saying is that conservative Christians have no place in public office. She's not talking about Islam. She's not talking about secularism. She's talking about you, the pro-life mom, the patriotic pastor, the Christian small business owner who still believes that moral law comes from a higher power. And that's exactly what the radical left fears. People whose values don't bend with politics.
Of course, who invited people who were inciting violence. And that is unacceptable. And so we needed to get to the bottom of it. And so that's why we brought private investigators along with notifying
how
the
secure
FBI.
were you, these students that you evicted and suspended were involved? Did you do any investigation? Was there a hearing?
They refused to cooperate with the investigation. And so until they do so, they are suspended.
Okay, thank you. And then in January, there was an incident involving students that were protesting that were attacked with a toxic chemical substance, leaving many hospitalized. A lot of them did not receive support from the school administrators. Can you speak to what is happening with the investigation, if you all are cooperating, and why weren't the students provided any support after they've experienced that attack?
So this is still with the police, and as far as we know, we think it was an odorous substance, and we did reach out to all of those students who said they were affected. Many of them didn't want support. We also
It took you guys more than 4 days to reach out to students.
No, I don't believe that's correct.
Okay, will you
actually.
respond, give me a written response with the fact that you all responded right away to those students?
Yes, I would be happy to do that.
All right, appreciate that. And it looks like there's been a lot of doxing and harassment that has taken place. What protections are a student being provided?
We created a doxing resources group to support students. There were many students who were affected by this. Muslim students, Jewish students, and completely, other students. That group we had 90 students reach out to that group to get support in terms of both technical support, legal support, privacy scrubbing, and so on.
And before I run out of time, I wanted to ask what do your rules say about professors that harass students online, like Professor Shai Davidar has done, and professors who directly attack you as the president as a coward and a liar?
So, as president, I'm used to being attacked, but attacking our students is unacceptable. And in that case, we've had more than 50 complaints about that professor, and he is currently under investigation.
And with politics.
For
Now let's talk
harassment.
about her questioning of Columbia University's president, Dr. Shafik. Omar spent her entire time defending so-called pro-Palestinian protesters, the same protesters who were chanting, "From the river to the sea," a phrase that literally calls for the destruction of Israel. Instead of condemning anti-Semitism, Omar flipped the script, asking whether the school had seen any anti-Muslim or anti-Arab protests. The university president had to admit, no, those aren't happening. This is what the left does. They deflect, distort, and disguise. The hearing was meant to address the harassment and intimidation Jewish students are facing every single day, but Omar turned it into a pity party for those promoting violence and hate. And when Dr. Shafik said those students were suspended for inviting people who incited violence, Omar acted shocked, as if enforcing basic safety on campus was some grand injustice. Then, she even brought up what she called a chemical attack, which turned out to be a stink bomb. You can't make this up. She wants you to believe students were gassed, when in reality, someone probably set off a prank for attention. This is how far we've fallen. Elected officials are defending mobs instead of victims. They call it free speech. But when Christians or conservatives speak truth, suddenly it's hate speech. And here's the kicker. Ilhan Omar has the audacity to say she supports religious freedom. She says, "Many of us fled our countries to come to the United States for that freedom." But in the next breath, she demands a secular government, meaning a government scrubbed clean of faith, morals, and God himself. That's not freedom. That's erasure. Our founders built this nation on faith, family, and freedom. The Declaration of Independence says our rights come from our Creator, not the government. And when politicians like Omar try to silence people of faith, they're not defending the Constitution, they're rewriting it. This is why elections matter. This is why President Trump's leadership mattered, because he wasn't afraid to say, "Merry Christmas." He wasn't afraid to defend life, faith, and America's moral backbone. And that's exactly what we have to keep fighting for. If you're tired of watching the radical left attack everything that makes this country great, then don't just scroll by. Hit subscribe, smash that like button, and drop a comment below with "Save America." Let's send a message loud and clear. Faith is not the enemy of freedom. It's the foundation of it. This is Congress Flash, where we stand for truth, faith, and the American way. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.